Good morning and welcome to Your Daily Sparks. You know, Star Wars is one of the most popular movie series ever created. And it's made its creator, George Lucas, a very rich man. But I once read in a Hollywood executive who walked onto the set as they were filming the movie, or one of the movies, looking for Lucas. Not only had he never met the man, but he didn't even know what he looked like. So after waiting on the set for 2 hours, looking for someone who appeared to be in charge, he approached a crew member and said, "Which one is George Lucas?" And she pointed to a skinny little guy in jeans and a plaid shirt who had a roll of cable on his shoulder and hadn't said a word the whole time. In fact, the Hollywood executive just assumed that this was some kid who was hanging out just doing a few odd jobs around the place. He'd been looking for a more dominant, more domineering, maybe a more charismatic person. And if he hadn't been told the truth, he would have continued to have no idea who was in charge. You can find a similar story in the Bible. Jesus' disciples went to Galilee, and while standing there, Jesus said these words, of course, Matthew 28, "All authority has been given to me on heaven and earth." Just as he'd risen from the dead and he was declaring to them that not only had he risen from the dead, but he was in charge of everything. He rules over everyone and everything. But while Jesus had the authority, only his 11 disciples knew it. No one else did at the time. Had anyone else approached prior to this moment, they would have assumed that Jesus was just one of the guys that hang out with the disciples. Jesus had a reason for only sharing his knowledge with those, with those 11 disciples. He gave them a mission. He said, "Go therefore, make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe everything I have commanded you." You see, Jesus at that moment actually transferred his authority onto his disciples. You can only give that sort of responsibility to people who truly know who you are. So my question to you this morning is, do you know who Jesus is? Are you walking on the set of Star Wars looking for someone who's not there, or do you really know who he is? Because if you know him, then you've been anointed to go for him and to preach for him wherever, to whoever who will listen. It's an exciting time. It's more exciting than Star Wars. We'll see you tomorrow on Sparks.